Yeah, thanks very much. So Ryan, someone has told me that you are a violinist, but you're kind of leaning towards viola. Now you really like the sound of it. Okay, are you still studying violin at the same time you're studying? Yeah. Okay, that's kind of what I do too. I'm a violinist and I just play the viola for fun. So, I will tell you, I have only taught this piece a couple of times. But, this is the violist's Mozart concertos. We have 5 violin concertos, but he didn't write any for viola except for the duo concertante for violin and viola. But this is your Mozart, So everything that we do in Mozart concertos is spoken over here in Hoffmeister. You play really well. You use the bow so well, and basically you play in tune all the time. Okay, there's always, none of us plays in tune 100% of the time. So there's always little issues that we have to work on with that. Every time you pick up the instrument, you have to work on intonation, right? Okay. What I'm hearing right now is an 18th century classical period concerto, which you're playing basically in the middle of your bow. Everything's in the middle of the bow, and everything's on the string. And I'm not hearing any of the lightness and the sparkliness, is that a word? The sparkle that I'd like to hear as I would in a Mozart concerto. Okay? And a lot of that is because your bow is on the string all the time. And I'm wondering, have you done any work on staccato bow strokes before?
Well, it's like, I think it's in the bone. Like,
Bone perpetual motion?
Yeah.
That's, in this viola. Is that the one you have in book 5? Is that right? Mm-hmm. The one that starts down there. Ours starts at the opposite end. It's hard to keep those straight. Mm-hmm. Well, let's take a real easy perpetual motion, one that's even easier than that. Can you play? And as I do this, I call this, it's not off the string yet, I call it jellyfish détaché. Okay, and I want you to watch me play it. And what's producing the bow stroke? My wrist and my fingers, right. Okay, so I'm not using any forearm. It might be moving slightly, but I'm initiating the motion from down here. So it's a really small bow stroke. Could you play that with me? Okay, that perpetual motion. We're going to be right in the middle of the bow. Ready? Go. Okay. Now, if you would use less bow, you wouldn't have to use any forearm. Okay? Can you do this? Let's see if I can do this on this viola. Can you put your left hand over here or your right arm down closer to the wrist? Yeah. So your fingers are going out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. So that's the jellyfish part of it, because a jellyfish does this. Okay, that's the jellyfish part. I see your fingers going out really well, but they're not really curling back in. Okay, so let's just try to get on your open D string. That's better. Okay, now don't do a flip-floppy thing with the bow. Okay, keep the hair flat. More did when you were in book one, with a lot of forearm motion. But I want you to isolate the motion down here. So let's begin here, and up here in the middle of your bow. Okay? Can you get those fingers to curl back in? Could you do this? Okay, now can you go, let's do two of these, it'll sound like this. Wiggle, wiggle, ready, go. Wiggle, wiggle, middle of your bow. Yeah, be sure on the up bow that the pinky curves back in, okay? Middle of your bow, you're out here pretty far. Can you get in the middle of your bow? Because later on we're going to bring it up to the frog. So that's why I want to be sure you're in the middle of the bow now. So you're going out, in, ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. Yeah, be sure it curves back in. Now, I think what I'm seeing now is you're playing with flatter knuckles than you were playing with before. Before you were more like this. Is that right? I think that's what I'm seeing. You're finding out that to do this kind of a bow stroke, you can't really do it like this. You need a flatter bow hand. So your knuckles have flattened out a lot. See, it's a lot of flexibility in the fingers and a little bit of wrist. And if there's any motion over here, it's just residual motion. You're initiating the motion down here. So let's do a few of those. Wiggle, wiggles. Okay. In the middle of your bow, if you're out here, you can't use the fingers the way I want you to. So I want you in the middle of the bow. Ready? Now you need to start with a nice curve in the pinky. There you go. Yeah. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Okay. Now don't let the bow flip-flop either. Keep the hair flat. Tilt the stick a little bit away from you, but not much. Okay. Wiggle, wiggle. Ready? Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Good. That's really good for just, have you ever done this before? This stroke? Okay, I call it a jellyfish stroke because it's kind of squishy feeling, isn't it? I even have those plastic things, they have all the spikes on them. Yeah. Sometimes we use those. They're like silicone or something. So let's play again. Ready, middle, go. Too much arm. Now let's bring that same bow stroke up to the bow grip, and it'll sound like this. Okay. You're just going to bring it up to the bow grip. So you're going to be going, that's too far. You're going to be using this part of the bow right in here, just above the bow grip. Okay, right in here. The same squiggly motion, the same squishy motion with your right hand, your fingers and your wrist. Ready, go. Keep going. Okay, so what does the bow start doing? Yeah, but what else? What's it doing all by itself? Yeah, it's starting to bounce, isn't it? So this is a brush stroke. Now yours is going. You're lifting off on the up bow, and we're not getting the brush on the down bow. And really, the bow should do the brushing for you. If you're up here in this part of the bow, it's right now you're getting, we want, you see the difference? You're getting down, it's connecting to up, and then it's coming off. We want it to brush at each end of each stroke. Yours is going. Okay, so let's try it again and see if you can get a little bounce. And you don't have to do very much. You need to let the bow do the work for you because it's made to bounce. Okay, so you're up, going from the bow grip out about maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 inches. Okay, start with a curved pinky. Ready, go. Keep the violin, viola up. Yeah, keep your back straight. Ready, go. You just did that again. I don't think you do that normally. It's just you're working on something new, so you're kind of hunkering down. Yes, keep your back real straight. Ready, go. Okay, so now we've lost the jellyfish motion in the fingers. Yeah, you had it earlier. Ready, go. Now let's check out what your pinky is doing. Your pinky has too much tension in it right now. Remember, it needs to sit on top, or it can either be on the top part of the hexagon or over on this back side. That doesn't really matter. In fact, when you're playing spiccato bow strokes, it's going to come off the bow a lot. But what's important is that it's curved. Yeah, use the fingers to flex out and out and out and out and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But you're really leaning over to make that happen. Real even though, is it? It's still going. Okay, that means your down bow is a little bit too heavy. What if we started it backwards? What if we went? It'll feel really weird. Start on an up bow. Ready? Up. Turn it. It doesn't feel very good. Now turn around and start on down bow so you can get that same sound. Don't lean over to do it. Remember, you don't have to do the bouncing. Let the bow do it for you. So this bow stroke, we're working on different kinds of spiccato. Spiccato means it's going to bounce off the string. This is a real slow spiccato, and it's up here close to the frog, and it's called, I call it the Colle stroke, C-O-L-L-E, which means, literally it means that the stroke is glued to the string. Okay, well that doesn't sound like a spiccato, because spiccato is supposed to come off, isn't it? But it's not coming off hardly at all. How high off the string would you say it is? Hardly at all. It's really just the bounce is in the stick. The hair is staying glued to the string, and the stick is doing this bounce. Okay, it's not. That's a different kind of spiccato. That's a more percussive kind that's coming from higher up. It's more related to ricochet. Okay, we're just working on Colle right now. Let's try it a little bit faster, all right? Let's do something different. Let's play. Ready, go. Okay, move up here more. And I'm going to drop out because I want to hear you play, okay? see, because your hand and your fingers are working and you're letting the bow do the brushing. Can you keep going? That's the first time you've really gotten it, I think. Use your fingers. There it is right there. Keep going. Yeah, see, it gets easier when it's faster, doesn't it? Okay, that was very nice, and I'm real impressed that you're able to do this in, in 20 minutes here, because I usually spend weeks and weeks and weeks developing this with students, working on the jellyfish and then bringing it up here and getting it off the string. Now let me show you where you're going to use that, where I think you should use it in this piece. Right there. And here, it's becoming more of what's called a PK stroke. Now I think you were going...
I went to the...
Oh. Oh, yeah, I think that's what you did, right? And that doesn't matter. You see where it's off, needs to be off the string? Basically, in an 18th century allegro movement, your eighth notes will use, the separate eighth notes will usually be off the string. Okay? And a lot of the 16th notes need to also be off the string. So I would go off, but not that kind of staccato. Sorry, I don't sound very good on it, but you see how I'm letting the bow? Okay. So could you try it from the beginning? And we're going to go really slowly, mainly for me. About like this. And I'd like to hear those 4 eighth notes off the string with this new Cole stroke. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you have to be in the lower half of the bow, right? So you can't go, you have to go, you can't use a full bow. Yeah, and what you just did is nice too. You just went, you put a nice crescendo on those repeated A's, which was really nice. And you did that because you were off the string. Okay, so let's try slowly again. 1, 2, 3. See, I'm up here. stroke. Bring the bow up to the viola. Okay, now that's an arpeggio. It's going up and up and up. What do you think the dynamic should be?
Go up.
Yeah, it's like a skyrocket, isn't it? Isn't Hofmeister a Mannheimer?
Oh, I don't know that.
I think he is.
Who's got the music history? Oh, probably.
Yeah, the Mannheim skyrocket. That's called the Mannheim skyrocket. Then there's the Mannheim steamroller, which is a big long crescendo.
I love that.
Okay. It's also approved to play some really, really cool Christmas music. But this is like a Mannheim skyrocket. So it needs to go to the top. But see, I'm not playing, it's not that kind of spiccato, it's the brushy. And you get such a much better sound that way, you articulate. What I was finding problematic in your 16th notes is they sounded a little what?
Like heavy.
No, kind of swishy, like you weren't catching the string. Like, too much like that. And I'd like to hear them articulate. Better. Okay, it's got to go. Okay, watch the bow distribution. And those can be a little off. Yeah, more brushy. Not that. Yeah, remember I said in 18th century classicism, most eighth notes are going to be off the string. I'm not going to say every single one of them because we may want to do something different. But brushed. No, not that. That's staccato. Okay, it's a type of up closer to the frog. Yeah, it's that collé stroke. Okay, it's something to work on, right? I know it's a really new concept for you. Let's find a few other places where you could use that. Even. And here's another Mannheim skyrocket right there. Okay, but you see here. Now that's on the string because of this slur. You're right here in the upper half. But look at the dots here. You see? I didn't play all the right notes. Sorry, I'm kind of messing this up, but I know what I want it to sound like, but I can't get it to sound like. Now, don't go off the string here. Keep this on. And then come off the string here. Okay, look, the bowing works beautifully. Watch. That's right. No, this is on. Yeah, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. See, Ryan, you're wanting to play everything right in the middle of the bow. Okay? What I want you to do in this passage is go out to the tip for this first group of 16th notes, these string crossings, and then this up bow brings you back to the lower half. So you're going to go upper half, that's right. I'll get that right. I'll get that a little bit. Okay? You see how much more variety you'll have in your sound that way. What you're getting right now is, it's getting, the notes aren't articulating clearly because it's neither on the string nor is it off the string. It's just kind of messy sounding. Okay? So I want, when I play a Mozart concerto or Mozart string quartet or symphony or anything, you have to pay really close attention to the articulation of every single note. You need to know exactly what you're doing with the bow and what direction each note is going to take. Is it going somewhere or is it coming from somewhere? I think you have to be more particular in Mozart than any other composer. We can treat this just like Mozart. Okay? So you've just been kind of messing around in the middle of the bow with all of these 16th notes, so they come out all sounding the same. And there's not a lot of finesse to your interpretation right now. Okay? I'd like to see you slow a lot of it down and clean up some of these technical details, like, okay, what part of the bow am I going to be in? What stroke am I using? Am I on the string, détaché? Am I in the middle of the bow using this? I'm in the lower half of the bow letting it brush. How high is it going to brush off the string? All those kinds of little details. You kind of go for the overall effect, which a lot of us do that. We want to just jump right to the end product, but I think you need to do a little more woodshedding before you start playing it so fast, for one thing. There was another place which would have been really good for that. What is that? It's a nice brushy staccato passage. That's the same one. Yeah, how about this one right here? Could these brush, even though they don't have dots, could you play with that one for me? So, you're not going to be able to do it. You're almost in the upper half of the bow. It's not going to come off the string easily.